Good afternoon and welcome to today's meeting of the Committee of Adjustment on September 6th. Chair Danielson is not with us today, so the first order of business will be to appoint an acting chair. I'm not sure if we have any volunteers for that. We could just have a mover and seconder to appoint Member Rogers. Thank you. So moved by Christine Sharp, second by Fergus McLaren. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby appoints John Rogers as the acting committee chair for September 6th, 2024 meeting of the Committee of Adjustment.
I guess, do I call that?
I guess, yeah, all in favor.
Right.
Yeah, that's carried.
Thank you. And I apologize for starting a little bit late, but here we go. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Algonquin Highlands is located at on Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We also acknowledge a historically shared presence of other Indigenous nations throughout the area. We recognize these original inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and the waters since time immemorial. Next item is the approval of the agenda. We could have a motion to approve the agenda by Fergus, seconded by Christine. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's approved. And then we have two sets of meetings minutes from the previous meetings. The first set is meeting minutes from June 28th of 2024. Are there any errors or omissions? And if we can have a motion, Fergus, thank you. Seconded by Christine. All those in favor? That's carried. Then the next ones were the minutes from July 26th of 2024. Is there a motion with, any errors or omissions?
No.
And a motion, Christine, for approval, and seconded by Fergus. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Then those are approved. And then the fifth item in the agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interest in any general nature thereof. Are there any declarations to see today?
I have a conflict with 6B, the Ray application.
Okay, thank you. And any other declarations? No. Okay. Then under new business, we have minor variance applications. First one being minor variance application AHMV 012-24 of the Quagga Lake feet application. Sean, please.
Thank you. This property is currently a vacant waterfront parcel on Long Island on Quagga Lake. The lands are zoned shoreline residential 2 and designated waterfront under the official plan. The property is approximately 1.03 acres in area with 63.4 meters of frontage on Quagga Lake. Surrounding uses are generally shoreline residential and the lands are currently vacant. The applicants are proposing to construct a 800 square foot 2-story dwelling. The proposed dwelling will be constructed 14.66 meters from the high water mark. Existing topographical constraints do limit the available building location for the proposed dwelling that would comply with the zoning bylaw requirements. Therefore, the following minor variance is being requested, and that is from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 14.66 meters for an 800 square foot 2-story dwelling. Notice of the application was posted on the property, posted on the township website, and circulated to property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands, as well as to the Quagga Lake Property Owners Association. One objection was received, and that has been circulated to members of the committee. Staff are recommending approval of the proposed minor variance with the following conditions. One, that confirmation be provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 14.66 meters from the high water mark prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. Two, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And three, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
Thank you. Are there any questions by members of Sean? No. Then is there anyone here to speak to this application, Sean?
Yes, I believe the applicant's attending virtually. Okay. Thank you.
So, Mr. Veet, welcome to the meeting. We're just waiting for connection here, I guess. There we go.
There we go. Unmute. Couple of buttons had to be pushed. There we go.
Well, welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
You've heard Sean's
Yeah.
Sean's report. Are there any things you would wish to add at this point?
No, I appreciate being able to work with you, and I'm trying to do the best. I've been a cottager at the lake for 49 years, so needless to say, I have quite an interest in it. So I'm very interested in maintaining the quality, and this particular lot, which I purchased in 2001, is obviously, I should have gone for the application at that point, but I didn't, and I've been trying to get my family going on it. Finally, because my next door neighbor is also going for the applications, I feel it's time to do so. So I'm hoping there's an approval on the building application here.
Okay, thank you. And did you, Mr. V, get a copy of the objection? You know?
I don't believe the objection was forwarded to him, but he is aware. I did have a phone conversation with him
Okay.
yesterday, I believe it was, so.
Okay, I was just going to ask you if you had any comments with respect to the objection that we have received.
It creates an interesting scenario here, because the individuals that are objecting to my permit are actually individuals that I've been trying to work with in a noise violation sense there on their behalf. And subsequently, I'm a little taken aback by, and I've been trying to do my best, and I have records to prove that, to try to help them and assist them in working with the situation, with their situation. In other words, trying to help them mitigate their problems. So I don't understand why they would come and try to block me. It seems to me like it's sour grapes more than anything, though I see no reason for that whatsoever, when I've been trying to be helpful as much as I can to try to help them.
Okay, thank you. So are there any, I'll turn over to the committee. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, if
No.
we could have a resolution then, or a motion, please, with respect to this. Motion. And seconded by
Christine.
Christine. Good, thank you.
So moved by Fergus McLaren, seconded by Christine Sharp. Be it resolved, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants minor variance application AHMV 1224 to seek relief from Table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 14.66 meters for an 800 square foot two-story dwelling. Conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 14.66 meters from the high water mark prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. Two, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And three, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
Thank you. Then all those in favor,
Aye.
And that's unanimous, and the motion carries. Mr. Veet, there is a 20-day appeal period, and you do have to wait for that to expire before you can move forward, but yeah, good luck with the rest of the project.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your consideration of this and your approval of this, and I will work hard to make everybody happy in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Our next application is minor variance application AHMV 013-23. Ray. That's the one that you have the conflict on. So if you could actually leave the room, if it will, because we'll come and get you when we finished with it. Just for the purpose of the record, with the loss of Fergus for because of his conflict, we are still able to continue this meeting because that does not reduce the quorum. We do have quorum, and it's just two of us though who will be dealing with this. So Sean, if you could start, please.
Thank you. This property is located on Quagga Lake. It is a water access only parcel of land. The lands are zoned shoreline residential 2 and designated waterfront under the official plan. The property is approximately 0.7 acres in area with 112 meters of frontage on Quagga Lake. The surrounding uses are generally shoreline residential, and the lands are currently developed with a sleeping cabin, gazebo, and a dock. The owner is proposing to construct a 1,361 square foot dwelling that is set back 15.77 meters from the high water mark. The owner is also proposing to allow the non-complying sleeping cabin with a loft to remain in its current location 23 meters from the high water mark. The variance is being requested for the dwelling in order to accommodate an increased setback from the high water mark for a septic system, along with an irregular shoreline which restricts the available building location for the proposed dwelling that would comply with the zoning bylaw requirements. The township has no record of the existing sleeping cabin being constructed on the lands, and it is considered a vacant lot. The sleeping cabin is located as far back from the high water mark as possible, given the lot depth restrictions and the irregular shoreline. So the following minor variances are being requested. The first is from section 4.2.103 of the zoning bylaw to permit a loft and a sleeping cabin. The second variance is from the section 4.2.104 to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 23 meters for a 95.4 square foot sleeping cabin. And then the final minor variance is from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 15.77 meters for a 1,361 square foot dwelling. Notice of the application was posted on the property, posted on the township website, and circulated to property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands and to the Quagga Lake Cottagers Association. One objection has been received from a circulated property owner. Committee did defer the application at the September 29th, 2023 meeting so that the applicant could be present to speak to the application and provide additional information regarding the proposed septic system. Committee again deferred the matter at the October 27th, 2023 meeting, pending septic location approval from Hydro One and or the Algonquin Highlands Building Department. A revised septic location has now been identified by the applicant that would comply with the Ontario Building Code, as well as the township zoning bylaw. Staff are recommending approval of proposed minor variances number 2 and number 3, conditional on the following. One, that confirmation be provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the sleeping cabin is not located closer than 23 meters from the high water mark prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 15.77 meters from the high water mark prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 3, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 4, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline. Staff are recommending refusal of proposed minor variance number 1, which is for the loft in the sleeping cabin. For the following reasons, the variance is not minor in nature. It is not desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land, building or structure. The general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw is not maintained. The general intent and purpose of the official plan is not maintained, and there is no justification for the loft to remain in the sleeping cabin.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak to this?
I believe there is, so we'll bring them in now.
No, okay. Mr. Ray.
That's right.
Mr. Ray.
Not accepting or declining, which tends to have me think she may not be at her computer right now.
Okay. Does it help if I ask her to connect? Yes. Mr. A, we're wishing to hear from you, but apparently our technical folks can't connect with you at the moment. If you could attempt to connect. Just while we're waiting, we keep on trying, and then just going to ask Christine if you had any questions at this stage, or
Just, so I did see the septic plan, that they, and the type of system that they're proposing putting in. Cause I know it's gonna be a difficult one because they're basically sitting on Canadian Shield,
Mhm,
right?
yes.
So I just wanted an assurance that indeed the septic plan that was submitted, somebody went to the site to just make sure that it would be doable and meet all of the regulations for that class of a septic system.
Yeah, so our building department has reviewed the plan. They've been to the site previously, but I'm not sure to what degree the site was inspected, because we don't have an actual application for a septic system at this
Right.
time. But whatever system is constructed would need to meet the building code.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Sent her a message as
oh,
well.
okay, still haven't heard back. Okay, that puts us in a slight dilemma at this point.
And sorry, I just want one more other thing, because this has been before us before, and
Mhm.
we've kind of gone through a process with these people.
Yep.
And my recollection from the last one was we were just concerned about what that septic was going to be and where it was going to be. So that really was the only thing that needed to be addressed.
That's right. That was the additional information the committee was requesting. Yeah, at that
Okay.
time.
Perfect, thank you.
If they're not able to join, we could
We could defer, although, I mean, at the same time, we don't have to
Yeah.
actually hear from the applicant if,
Mhm.
if you're prepared to make a motion, Christine. I'm certainly prepared to accept that, and I'll have to second it, of course.
Yeah.
If,
They left the meeting.
Oh,
oh. Okay.
okay.
Okay. It may be that they're trying to get back in again,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to make a motion if that sits well with
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
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 okay.
okay. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to connect her, so, yeah, yeah. All right, thanks. That's all right.
It's just not happening.
Yeah,
At
she's,
this point.
she's having,
Yeah.
she's called into the office, so,
Yeah.
She's panicking. Yeah.
Yeah. You were prepared to make.
I'm
the motion.
prepared to
Yeah.
make a motion.
That's, yeah.
Yes, so I would make a motion that's concurrent with Sean's recommendation and that the first as part of the application, the three parts, the first part to permit a loft in a sleeping cabin that we do not approve, and that parts 2 and 3 to reduce the minimum setback for the sleeping cabin and the primary dwelling be approved.
It's moved by Christine, and I will, in this case, I'll be seconding the motion.
So moved by Christine Sharp, seconded by John Rogers, be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants minor variance requests number 2 and 3 of application HMB 1323 to seek relief from section 4.2.10 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 23 meters for a 95.4 square foot sleeping cabin. And from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 15.77 meters for a 1,361 square foot dwelling. Conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the sleeping cabin is not located closer than 23 meters from the high water mark. 2, confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 15.77 meters from the high water mark. 3, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 4, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, which shall include the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline. And further, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby refuses minor variance request number 1 to seek relief from section 4.2.10(3) of the zoning bylaw to permit a loft in a sleeping cabin.
Thank you. And all those in favor? That's a unanimous decision. Ms. Mary, unfortunately, the technology is obviously challenging us today. Just hopefully you're hearing this, that there is now the 2 applications have been approved. The one with respect to the sleeping cabin has not been approved. There is a 20-day appeal period with respect to the decisions that were rendered today. hopefully you have heard this and will be able to move on with your project. Thank you. If we could call Fergus back.
Oh, right. Yes.
Our next application is application AHMV 014-24 and Morocco. Sean, please.
Thank you. This property is located at 2517 North Shore Road. The lands are zoned rural residential and environmental protection and designated rural in the official plan. The property is approximately 0.6 acres in area with 67.3 meters of frontage on North Shore Road. The surrounding uses are generally rural and rural residential, and the lands are currently developed with a foundation for a dwelling. Building staff became aware of a foundation being constructed on the subject lands without the benefit of a building permit in the summer of 2023. Stop work order was issued on August 24th, 2023. The applicants are proposing to construct a 1,056 square foot two-story dwelling. A portion of the lands are identified as an unevaluated wetland. However, a favorable environmental impact study has since been completed, confirming there is in fact no EP located on the property. The proposed dwelling will be constructed 11.45 meters from the front lot line. Existing topographical constraints do limit the available building location for a dwelling that would comply with the zoning bylaw. All other zoning bylaw provisions will be complied with. So the following minor variance is being requested, and that is from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback from the front lot line from 15 meters to 11.45 meters for a 1,056 square foot two-story dwelling. Notice of the application was posted on the property, posted on the township website, and circulated to property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands. No objections have been received, and staff are recommending approval. With the following conditions: 1, confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 11.45 meters from the front lot line prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, an entrance permit being issued for the subject lands by the township. And 3, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Thank you. Are there any questions by members of the committee of Sean? Okay.
No, I would just say again, we've had this before, that, and there's a foundation there now. I think it would do more damage to the land to require them to do the proper setback, but I think there was sufficient setback on that lot if it had been applied for properly to begin with. That would be my only comment.
Sean?
And I would note also the Township Public Works Department has reviewed the application and had no concerns with them encroaching on the front yard setback towards the road. So,
Yeah.
Okay. And do we have anyone here, Sean?
yes, I believe so.
Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting today.
Yeah, I'm Elio Morocco. My wife and I have purchased the land in good faith, and we've been encountering a number of setbacks, and we already have the logs ready. We're doing an eco log cabin. You might be aware of Peter Redman. He's been advising us, and also we're using local construction people. Peter Lance is going to be putting the logs together for us. We've encountered that setback of the the distance from the road because we have a hill and we didn't want to go too far back into the hill.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of Mr. Morocco? I have one question that I always have in these circumstances is why did you build without a permit?
Unfortunately, the people that I've entrusted my finances with were telling me everything was under permit. I got to find out late in the timing, and that's when I came to meet with Mr. O'Gallaghan and also with Craig. Craig, yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
I apologize for that.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments by members?
No.
If not, if we could have a motion with respect to this?
There may have been one more person.
Oh, sorry.
Speaking on it. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Wonderful. I've
Good.
been requested by my father-in-law just to join in. If I could give just one or two comments, if it's allowed.
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay, first want to thank all the parties involved for your time today. We appreciate that. And the applicant, Mr. Morocco, is my father-in-law. He has asked me just to join in quickly. As we said, we appreciate that we can put the application to seek relief, the setback. The reason I'm part of the call is I have successfully applied for a permit and built an eco-log cottage in the area of Tiny Township. And I also was part of, the same building process, in regards to, how you build the cottage. So I'll be kind of just around and helping my father-in-law wherever anything is requested. Again, we seek your apologies given the matter that he found himself into, but we'll be doing everything to the bylaws and to standard, and I'll be around to assist him in any of the matters to make sure this cottage has gone up to the city's guidelines with this minor variance in play, seeking your relief. So thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of members? Okay, then if we could have a motion with respect to this application. Fergus, moved by Fergus,
Seconded.
seconded by Christine. All those in favor?
Just, read it.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Jumping the gun.
Moved by Fergus McLaren, seconded by Christine Sharp. Be it resolved, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants minor variance application AHMV 1424 to seek relief from Table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback from the front lot line from 15 meters to 11.45 meters for a 1,056 square foot two-story dwelling. Conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 11.45 meters from the front lot line prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, an entrance permit being issued for the subject lands by the township. And 3, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Sorry, just as you read that, we saw there is a survey that's part of this application. Do we need to actually have that provision in this particular case?
So the condition is technically fulfilled.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it just, it's a, okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine. Then all those in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Thank you very much for attending today. The application has been approved. There is a 20-day appeal period before you can move forward with the actual construction part of the project. But best of luck with the application.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your assistance. Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
And to you.
The next application is minor variance application AHMV 013-24. Squires on Quagga Lake. Sean?
Thank you. Yes, this property is located at 14086 Long Island. It's a water access only property on Quagga Lake. The lands are zoned shoreline residential 2 and designated waterfront under the official plan. The property is approximately 1.69 acres in area with 77.7 meters of frontage on Quagga Lake. Surrounding uses are generally shoreline residential, and the lands are currently developed with a sleeping cabin. During the site visit conducted by staff, a deck near the water with a set of stairs and a permanent dock were found to have been recently constructed without a permit. Staff have advised the applicant a permit will be required and have included a recommended condition to the application requiring a building permit for those structures. The applicant is proposing to construct a 1,000 square foot dwelling. The proposed dwelling will be constructed 15.89 meters from the high water mark. So the following minor variance is being requested, and that is from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 15.89 meters for a 1,000 square foot dwelling. Notice of the application was posted on the property, posted on the township website. Circulated to property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands, as well as to the Lake Association. No objections have been received. And staff are recommending approval of the proposed minor variance conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 15.89 meters from the high water mark prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, a building permit being issued for the deck, stairs, and dock constructed on the subject lands. 3, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 4, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
Thank you. Are there folks here to speak?
Yes, Mr. Squires is.
Welcome, Mr. Squires. If you just sit there, please, just for recording purposes. And if you have any additional information you'd like to give us?
I'm actually right next door to Hans Viet, who's the other applicant.
Yes.
So we're sort of working in combination due to the distance from the water. So the land sort of juts out on a rock face about 14 feet up. So majority of the septic in that will have to go through Hans's property for this to sort of go ahead. So I'm happy that Hans's project was approved, and just hoping that this goes through as well.
Okay. I was thinking, did we get a letter of objection on?
Not for this
Not
application.
this application. Okay. All right, sorry. There was some, I thought there was 2 letters.
There was 1 for Mr. Viet's property and 2 for the previous application, the Ray application.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I just,
no problem.
I was confused
Yeah.
there. So, okay, and I just, one question about the stairs and
Yes.
the dock was, did you realize you needed a permit for that, or?
I didn't realize that for the stairs in the dock because I was doing like a post dock. So when I was reading about building a dock, I thought if I wasn't doing like a crib or anything like that, I wasn't disrupting much. So the way the property sits, the only way to access it was where the previous owner had dropped 2 logs off the cliff and then put 2x6s just nailed into it. So it was really unusable. Even when I had invited Sean out, I didn't bring him in through that area because of that, because it's so dangerous, and we went around the other way. So anyway, I was excited to get the property going. So I put the dock and the upper deck so I could attach the staircase, but that was my bad. Now that I understand through Sean's, he informed me before the meeting that I should not have done that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but I do apologize for jumping ahead, but
Yeah.
I bought the property 4 years ago and super excited. So I
Okay,
was trying to make proper use of the property while in there. So I've been camping for
Yeah.
4 years on the
Yeah.
property.
yeah, okay, thank you. Are there any questions by members?
Just one. It looks a lot safer than two logs off a cliff.
Pictures of it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
well, and I appreciate you sending the pictures because I can see there where that old cabin is, that was on the property, and I can see from the site plan where you're putting the new place, which is basically getting rid of the old cabin and just kind of doing it sort of on the same footprint to mitigate.
Well, I didn't want to cut any trees down.
Yeah,
And
I
that
hear
was my
you.
biggest concern was cutting trees
Yep.
down and disrupting the site too
Yep.
much. That, I think, yeah, the property itself, that cabin's probably been there, I don't know.
Looks like a
30
long
years.
time. Yeah,
The
yeah,
previous owner was using it
yeah.
the best I guess he could, so. but-
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? And if I could have a motion? Christine,
Motion to approve.
and seconded by Fergus, thank you. Sean?
Moved by Christine Sharp, second by Fergus McLaren, be it resolved, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants minor variance application HMV 1324 to seek relief from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback to the high water mark from 30 meters to 15.89 meters for a 1,000 square foot dwelling. Conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 15.89 meters from the high water mark prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, a building permit being issued for the deck, stairs, and dock constructed on the subject lands. 3, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 4, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor? And that's unanimous. The application has been approved. You have a 20-day appeal period. You have to wait for that before you can actually start into construction, but you can start working towards getting that permit, for example, on the dock, that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
you-
and Sean, will I talk to you about what I need to do for that, or is it?
Yeah, we can touch base after the meeting and I can
Should we do that today, or is that, or would you? prefer to do
if
it
you
in
give
the
me a
meeting?
call, we can set up a
Do it. over-
meeting and,
Okay,
yeah, just go over that. Yeah.
okay,
right.
appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate it,
being
guys.
here.
Thanks.
Thanks. And that's the end of the applications for today. The next item is the schedule of the next meeting. Do we have something tentative, Sean, at this point?
I'll send out some dates for the committee to consider, but it looks like potentially either the 11th or the 18th of October will be the next meeting.
Won't be available for the 18th.
Okay,
Nor will I.
okay. The
The
11th
11th would
would work.
work.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, let's tentatively schedule it for the 11th then, and then I'll, if that needs to change, I'll advise the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, then, I know here we usually ask for a motion for adjournment, although you don't, I as chair can actually call the meeting adjourned without a motion.
Do it.
So, yeah, so I declare the meeting adjourned.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Thanks, John.